Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season so far. It's just starting to snow a little bit outside, so I'm feeling very Christmassy. So I'm staying nice and warm inside my haunted library. And I just got in the mail the books I bought from Powell's bookstore when I was out in Portland, Oregon last week. So I'm very excited to share with you this little kind of a more of like a mini haul. I didn't go too crazy, but I spent about $100 on books. Now, if you've never been to Powell's Books, it's a huge bookstore. It's the entire city block, and it is several stories high. And what's cool about it is that it does have a pretty extensive horror section, and the new books are mixed up with the old books. So when I went there, I was looking for books that were unique and mostly like vintage older books because I didn't want to just buy stuff I could find on Amazon. I wanted to find things that were unique. So this is what I got. Now, if you've ever been to Powell's, the horror section is about like one wall, and then the rest of the room is pretty much dominated by fantasy and science fiction. I mean, like stack after stack after stack. So the horror section paled in comparison a little bit to the sci-fi fantasy section, which was huge, but I was happy to see that they had a pretty good horror section. I also went to this incredible place called Movie Madness. If anyone who's familiar with Portland will know it. And I went in there, and it has amazing collection of old costumes and all kinds of videos that you would not believe. And I was out there visiting with family, and we got some crazy obscure horror films that I should do like a whole review of like these obscure horror films that I watched from that Movie Madness, but I guess that's another video. But anyway, back to the book. So this is what I got from Powell's bookstore. So off the bat, we have Weave World by Clive Barker. This is one of his earlier novels, and I do have it in paperback, but this is the hardback edition. So I was happy to find this is in great condition. And I'm back on my Barker playlist. I started reading The Damnation Game this week, and I'm about 100 pages in, and I love it. And speaking of Clive Barker, I found this book that I've been looking for a long time. This is Clive Barker, A to Z of Horror, and it is like a compilation of different themes from different horror books and movies from A to Z, and this is a great book just to kind of have by the bed and just look through. I was reading this on the plane home, and I was really enjoying it. So I was happy to add this to my collection of Clive Barker. Can't have too many. Okay, this is The Black Dahlia by James Ellroy. This is a noirish fiction account of the Black Dahlia case. And maybe over 10 years ago, a friend of mine gave me this book, and I did try to get into it. It was a different paperback version of it. And I don't know why, it didn't really grab me, but I'm going to give it another try. So I don't know what happened to my other book. I think I might have given it to someone. Anyway, I'm going to give this another chance because thanks to the lovely Merce from Harpies in the Trees, I went down this whole Black Dahlia black hole, if you want to call it that. And I actually started this along with the Clive Barker. I tend to start books, at the same time. So already this is really good. So this is going on my bedside, and I will be reading that along with The Damnation Game. And I will do a review for each book. Okay, so like I said, when I was in Powell's Books, I'm like, I want to find something that's a little different that I can't just find on Amazon. And this one really caught my eye. This is called The Plague Saint by Rita Donovan. It just has a very cool cover. This is a hardback book and in nice shape, and I'm very curious about this book. So if anyone's heard of this book, please let me know in the comments below. It looks pretty cool. All right, this is a book called Hotel Transylvania by Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough. I have a few of other books by that author, and I've read one, and I was very impressed of the first one I read, so this looks cool. Of course, I love a good vampire book, and this has a great cover, so I grabbed that. There were different versions of this, but this was the cover that spoke to me. And speaking of cool covers, this is Sunglasses After Dark by Nancy A. Collins. This is such an 80s looking cover, and it kind of reminds me of Catherine Deneuve's character in The Hunger, with the sunglasses and everything. Let's see. This was winner of the 1990 Bram Stoker and British Fantasy Awards, so that comes pretty highly recommended. Erotic Dreams, Blood-Soaked Nightmares. Okay, that's got me already. She could lead a man to heaven and deliver him to hell. A beautiful vampire of consummate immortal power, lust beyond the warmth of blood, revenge beyond desire. The world lay at her feet. The extraordinary power of unnatural life breathes behind sunglasses after dark. I don't know, this sounds really good. I think I might move this to the top of the stack. And this, I always love when I find books about writing, like writing horror, and I have quite a few of them. This is called Dark Thoughts on Writing by Stanley Wiater, and it's quotes. It's like different, and I already started digging into this a little bit. It's different topics with quotes from different authors, like Clive Barker, Ray Bradbury, Neil Gaiman, Stephen King, Dean Koontz, Anne Rice. This looks like fun. So this is Valentine by S.P. Somto, The Return to Vampire Junction. I have the Vampire Junction book, the prequel to this, or this is a sequel to this, so I had to get this. And I have that in paperback, I think. I don't think I have the hardback. I have to look, but this looked really intriguing. And last but not least, I got Cutting Edge, Brave New Horror Stories by Peter Straub, Whitney Strieber, Clive Barker, and others. Dennis Etchison, editor. That looked pretty cool. I love good horror anthologies. In fact, I've been reading a lot of short stories from anthologies, so I plan to do a whole series about that in the new year coming up, 2020. I want to do a whole playlist on horror anthologies, because I do happen to read quite a few of them. And then I guess one other thing, or two other things I got, I picked up this little Cascade Booksellers Association. It's like that Portland and Washington, different booksellers. I went to a lovely little bookstore in Portland. I didn't buy anything because it really didn't have any, like the types of books that I'm looking for. It was really more like kind of ephemera and books from like 1920s, but they had a lot of really great books and a lovely proprietor. So it was fun just to kind of walk around Portland and look into some of the different shops and everything. It was really fun. Oh, and I guess the last thing I got was a Cthulhu tote bag, because they don't give out bags in Portland because it's very green, but I bought this Cthulhu tote bag, which is very cool. And the Hollywood Movie Theater does a H.P. Lovecraft film festival every year, and I actually, years ago, over 10 years ago, a film that I worked on was featured in the film festival, and I went out for that. So that was my Powell's book haul, and I can't wait to dig into some of these, and I already started on a few. Of course, got more than one going at once, but if you ever go to Portland, you definitely have to check out Powell's books. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye!